Hello Sorare managers, welcome to another video on the Sorare Contender YouTube channel. Make sure you hit like and subscribe at some point during the video if you like what you see. Same structure as always on a Wednesday. We look at the results from the weekends, a gallery update, a quick look at how the watch list is looking and any new players that I have added to it this week, and we'll finish up with building a few lineups for the weekend's action. So the most recent weekend went okay. Managed to come away with about £43 in prize money. Managed to get 3 teams promoted and no relegations. So it's always a good week when no teams drop down. So I'm not going to go through every team from the weekend. I'll just talk about the teams that did manage to get promotion. So this was an in-season Division 2 team, which will now be in Division 1 for the next round of matches. Mitov in goal at St Johnstone. Didn't keep a clean sheet, so he kind of let the side down with 35 points. But elsewhere, captained Alistair Johnston for a massive 157.5. I was at that Celtic game and it was a joy to watch him live as my Sorare captain. His teammate Greg Taylor chipped in with a clean sheet as well. Holtby did the business in Germany with an assist in a 4-0 victory. I think that put him to the top of the league. And Petkovic didn't do too much, but got the team over the line in terms of promotion. So picked up about 20 quid there. I also had another team competing in the same division, in-season Division 2, which also got promoted. So we'll have 2 in-season teams in Division 1 for this upcoming game week. Xander Clark in goal did not play. He let the side down. We could have been in the running for a very good position in the leaderboard if Clark played. So that was a bit of a shock. Craig Gordon got a start, who I do also own in the gallery, but of course that one came out of the blue. There's a cup game coming up this weekend, so probably getting some minutes into Craig Gordon for that one, and then hopefully Xander Clark will be back in goal for the next league game. Elsewhere, the Celtic boys smashed it. Captain Matt O'Reilly, no decisives, but still a pretty decent score. Carter Vickers with a 93, Hatsati with the goal, and Shanklin, the main man, probably should have captained him. A goal and 2 assists in the 4-2 victory for Hearts. So what could have been if only Xander Clark played? Who knows? Maybe Hearts would have actually kept a clean sheet. Craig Gordon was at fault for at least one of those goals conceded. So all in all, good to get a promotion and about 20 quid there as well, despite having no goalkeeper. And the final team I'll talk about is my only limited team. This Celtic stack started in Division 3 and they are now promoted to Division 1. So all of them did the business at the weekend. Joe Hart with a clean sheet, Carter Vickers, Captain O'Reilly, Hatsati and Kyogo both on the score sheet. So 3 teams promoted to Division 1 and no relegations elsewhere. A quick update on the gallery in terms of players that have been purchased since the last video. I think the last one we spoke about was Matty Kennedy, who came in at Kilmarnock to join his teammates Danny Armstrong and Stuart Findlay. I mentioned on the video last week that I didn't think I was going to play the K-League Special Weekly and that I was more likely to play the J-League Special Weekly, but I've kind of flipped that on its head now, thought about it more. I don't have a J-League goalkeeper, and I certainly don't have the funds to go out and buy one either, so I'm probably not going to play J-League, but K-League, which is coming up first, I have Choi, the goalkeeper from FC Seoul. I've got Ki Sung Young as well, who's performing really well. Both of those are classic cards, so I've decided to add a few in-season K-League cards, and I've stuck with FC Seoul. So as you'll see, I've picked up 3 or 4 of them, which puts me in a position to play the K-League Special Weekly. So I'm looking forward to that. So I've picked up Kwon, a cheap defender. He's been playing recently, only paid about 11 quid for him. Let's see exactly what I did pay. Yeah, £10, 11 pence for Kwon, but I think I might need to go out and buy a better, more nailed-on defender for that tournament. So the defender is probably the weak link at the moment, so I might get an upgrade on Kwon and just keep him as a as a piece that I could use in one of the game weeks. I had an old season Elzhichenko, which I spoke about, so I went out and I think it was an instant buy, bought him as the forward for the special weekly. Elsewhere, Cecilia, not really related to the special weekly, just a player that was on the watch list for quite a while, picked up an injury. His price dropped quite significantly, so I managed to pick one up for £64, which I think was at the time the cheapest ever Cecilia on the market in terms of a purchase. I think a few people have picked him up even cheaper than me over the last couple of days. So looking forward to him being back fit and hoping he'll be a big part of the gallery into next season. Elsewhere, Abdallah Sima from Rangers came in. Again, he was on the watch list last week. Spoke about him as a possible player for my plan to have one under 23 team next season. Currently in action as I record against Dundee, so we'll see if he gets any decisive there. It was a trade deal, so I got rid of quite a few pieces that are just not really in my long-term plans to get Sima. So I'll just show you what that looked like. So I got rid of Duke, who hasn't really been playing for Aberdeen. Paulo Bernardo at Celtic, picked him up cheap on the auction. We don't really know what his status is going to be next year, whether Celtic sign him or he goes back to his parent club. Danilo picked him up for about a tenner. Again, just put him in as part of the deal rather than having to put extra cash into the platform. Penrith, not part of my long-term plans, and likewise Jordan McGee, just two players that are very cheap. And I added £27 to the deal to get Abdallah Sima. So under 23 again next season, on loan from Brighton, so I don't exactly know where he's going to play. I think the deal was worth about 70 quid. I've got him listed on the market for 99. So one of those where, happy to sell and buy a different under 23 forwards, but also happy just to play it out and see where he lands next season. This guy, shout out to Hoodwink, who I was speaking to at the Sorare Sevens meetup a couple of weeks ago. He sent me a DM. He knew I bought Cecilia. He's obviously a big fan. He sent me a tip off that this guy, 1 of 100, was available very cheap on the market just to get my Cecilia up to 1%. So I think I paid £1.57 for a 1 of Shin Jung to get Cecilia to 1%. Elsewhere, I already have 2 Ross Laidlaws. He started against Rangers last week and put in a very good performance, so I'm hoping that that's Laidlaw back in the team for the rest of this season and for next season also. So as soon as I seen him in the starting 11, I jumped in and snapped up an in-season Ross Laidlaw, which I'm hoping to use for the rest of the campaign. £17, can't really go wrong at that price. Elsewhere here, you'll see a few more of the FC Seoul in-season guys. So I think I want to play 2 midfielders in that lineup most weeks. So Ryu J Moon will come in alongside Ki Sung Young. He's been putting up some good scores recently, a 70 and a 63 in there. His teammates, again, this is a jersey mint that I picked up just for the collection bonus. So what did I pay for that? £8 in the auction, I think it was. So obviously that really helps with the collection bonus for that competition. Elsewhere, picked up a couple of old season cheap guys from FC Seoul as well to boost the level of Ki Sung Young and Choi to get those guys up to 1% as well, possibly even 2% for the tournaments. I've been talking a lot about under 23, thinking about playing an under 23 team next year to try and pick up some rewards to go along with the 3 classic teams that I'll be playing. Did a bit of research. Joan Garcia at Espanyol was one of the goalkeepers on the watch list, so I managed to get him at a good price on the auction this morning. Paid $64.99. The auction before that went for 112. Someone bought him for 140 quid a couple of weeks ago, so he's become the number 1 at Espanyol recently. They're in line for promotion. Doesn't really bother me whether they get promoted or not because it won't matter for my under 23 team. But better, of course, if he stays in contender. So I could use him sometimes in under 23, sometimes in my contender team also. And the good thing is he's in season, so he's a good option for the rest of this season also. He's certainly going to be in one of my better lineups this weekend because he has a good fixture. So feel good about getting that one over the line for a good price for a highly rated young goalkeeper under 23 again next season. Just before I get to Rio Hatate, I was looking to get my goalkeeper Garcia up to 1% and then up to 2% for the start of next season. I already have Braithwaite from Espanyol, so I only needed an extra, 20 points on collection. But when I was doing a bit of scouting, I noticed that there was another goalkeeper, a one of 100s, priced very cheaply. He's under 23 for another couple of seasons, so who knows what might happen there. He only cost me £5.92. So picked up two Espanyol goalkeepers, and hopefully Garcia in particular will be useful over the next couple of years. I managed to win about 40 quid, 45 quid on the most recent game week. So I've put those funds towards buying a second Rio Hatate, but this time the forward card. One of them popped up on the market today or yesterday, and straight away I jumped in. I think I paid about 47. What was it? Might have even been 49. Yeah, 47 quid for a Rio Hatate. I've been wanting to get my hands on a forward card of his as well. I've already got the midfielder. Usually I don't like having two cards of the same player, but I think when it's two different positions, I'm probably a bit light in the forward position, although I've added Cecina recently, so that improves that, and Sima as well. But good to get Hatate in, and that will be a long-term hold. So those are the new players, and let's now have a look at the watch list. So what has changed here from last week? Goalkeepers, Gütelbauer plays in Austria and looks like he's going to become number one next season because the current number one is leaving. So I've picked up Garcia, but I might pick up a Gütelbauer if I can get him for 40 or 50 quid as well, just to have two under 23 goalkeepers ready. Seagrass is still there. We'll pick him up cheap, hopefully at the end of the season. Hagelskjaer, mentioned last week, he's after playing again today and putting in a 90 score, I think it was, despite conceding. He's absolutely bossing it. And because of that, it's probably going to be quite hard to get my hands on one now, but we'll keep an eye out for him. I've got Barbet there, scores very well in the Contenders division. Nemchik, young defender at Rosenborg. Piovi's one I've been looking at for a couple of months now. There is a break. I think it's in the Mexican season. So I think there's only 2 games left, and then there's a break until August. So Piovi's dropped right down now to about 60 or 70 quid. I'm hoping that drops a wee bit more, and I might pick one up with one eye on next season. Elsewhere, Barisic, that's Adrian Barisic. He plays at Basel. When I joined Sorare first, I had a cheap limited card of his when he played in Croatia. Injured at the moment, but again, he's under 23 next season, maybe even for 2 more seasons. Scores quite well on the platform, so I might pick up a Barisic for the under 23 team. Solaka is another FC Seoul player, and the research I've done suggests he might be a little bit safer than Kwon at centre back. So I might just pick up a Solaka to go along with Kwon and have 2 options for that K-League special weekly. Choi Jun, the FC Seoul right back, is a lot more expensive. He's the one I want to own. So if I can free up some cash, make a couple of sales, I might try and get the right back instead of Solaka. Midfielders on the watch list, Perisic, his price has dropped a wee bit recently, so I might pick one up ahead of next season. I should say the players in bold and underlined here, they are my immediate targets. They're all at affordable prices, and again, they're ones I want to prioritise trying to get over the next week or 2. Evian is in Norway as well, but again, quite rare to get his cards on the market. Jackson Irvine at St. Pauli. Rayatori Iraqi, he's away with the Japan under 23s at the moment, so might be a chance for me to bring him back in. Bought one, sold one, but would like to get one back. So now when he's away, might be a good time to do so. Cabal plays in the French second division, scores very well. Appelkamp, I think, is he in Germany or Austria? Banged 100 in the most recent game week. Notice his name in the leaderboard, so one to keep an eye on there. And Watson is David Watson at Kilmarnock. So I want to get my Kilmarnock collection to 2% for next season. And Watson is the one I want to complete it with because he's a very good young player and could have a big future. The forwards, Lopez in Japan, Anderson Lopez, that is. I've come across Skrybski as well because I own Lewis Holtby. He's still very cheap. He's getting minutes at the moment and he's scoring goals, so I might pick one up to go along with Holtby as a Holstein Kiel stack. Dyson Maeda looks like he's out for the season. So when I see injuries, I see opportunity because prices drop. So I might pick up a Dyson Maeda with one eye on next season. Likewise, Lewis Palma will probably get more game time now that Maeda is out. But again, I'm not going to pay 70, 80, 90 quid for him. If I can get one for about 50 quid, then maybe. And Danilo at Rangers, been injured for a while. I still think he could be a big player for them next season. And I just got rid of mine on the deal to bring in Sima. So I'm probably going to go back and get a Danilo cheap as well at some point. So just a few players there that are on the radar. So I'll update that again next week to see if I've managed to bring in any of those. We'll finish up with a lineup builder for the weekend. Now, my problem this week is there is no Scottish Premiership fixtures. And as you know, I have a lot of Scottish Premiership cards, Celtic cards in particular. So it's going to be a quiet game week for me. The plan is I'm just going to put in 2 lineups. I've got enough to put in 3, but I'd rather put in 2 strong ones rather than, compromising the second lineup for the third lineup. And the good thing about the transition period is we do not need to worry about relegation. So I'll just leave. I've got two teams in Division 1 in season, but I'm only going to use one of them and then wait for the Celtic boys to come back the following game week, or the following weekend, I should say. So what I'm going to do is build 1 in-season team and 1 classic team. So very quickly, new signing Garcia has a good fixture. Espanyol are playing against FC Andorra, who are 21st in the league. So an easy pick as the in-season goalkeeper. As always, I like to put Sho Sasaki into my in-season team as the classic defender. The midfielder will need to be Ki Sung-young and Moon are classic cards. Kjaergaard is injured, so it's going to be Lewis Holtby. The forward can be Petkovic, it can be Iljachenko. I've got a classic and an in-season Iljachenko. I'm trying to sell the old one at the moment. Cecilia probably still injured. I'll check on that before the weekend. I think Petkovic, he was playing today. Didn't get any decisives, but hopefully he's still in the team at the weekend. And then finishing the lineup, it's probably going to be another forward. Yeah, I don't have too many in-season cards available this weekend. So I'm playing Garcia because Espanyol have a good fixture. So I think there's a good chance I will throw Martin Braithwaite into this team as well. So 2 forwards, Lewis Holtby, Sho Sasaki and Garcia. And I'll probably captain Sho Sasaki as I usually do. But there's other good options there. But probably Sho gets the armband. So let me delete that one and let's see what the classic team is going to look like. It's probably going to be made up a lot of K-League and J-League players. I think Choi will get the nod in the classic team. Elsewhere, probably a shootout between Andrade, although I am trying to sell him at the moment, or Shiatani. Big Ass is an option with a decent fixture, but it's probably going to be Shiatani. So fingers crossed for a Sanfrecce clean sheet this weekend, as I'll have 1 defender in each lineup. Holtby will be in the other lineup, so I think Ki Sung-young is the obvious pick there. The forward in this one, probably going to be the FC Seoul striker. I'll put the in-season one in because I'm hoping to sell the other one beforehand. And to complete the lineup, it will be Andrade if I don't sell him. Otherwise, down the list here, it could be Big Ass, it could be Cecilia if he's fit. But yeah, most likely, who did I say? Andrade. So I'm trying to sell him at the moment, but maybe I should take him off the market because I might need him for this lineup. So there you are. There is results. There's a gallery update, a watch list update, and a couple of lineups for the weekend. Notification before we go. Received an offer for Johnny Placide. So yeah, because I've picked up Garcia, I've got an extra in-season goalkeeper now. So I feel like I don't need Placide anymore. I don't know what his status is going to be next season. So I am looking to sell him. I bought him for 34 quid. So I'm going to be looking for a little bit more than 36 quid. So after this, I will send a counter offer and try get that one over the line. So thank you as always for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment, anything about the video, any suggestions you have, any players I should add to the watch list. Is there anything glaringly obvious that I'm missing from the gallery? Any feedback on the videos, always welcome. Also, any videos you'd like to see in the future. And as always, make sure you hit like and subscribe on the way out. Thank you for watching, folks, and I'll talk to you again next Wednesday.